Hello everybody, Storm here, and welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV Online Heavensward. In the last episode, we continued working in the Churning Mists, advancing to the, the settlement of Asa, or ruins of Asa, where there are some Mughals that apparently live there. Working through the main quest as we continue to try to advance to where we can hopefully beat Hraesvelgr. We were also doing some side quests to get Aether Currents and pieces of gear to improve our character's gear. So we got a bunch of new gear pieces. And, yeah, we are kind of here. Where is this? The Forearms. We're in a bit of a resting spot while we wait, I think, for the weather to be favorable, I think is what the current state of things is. And so we're going to be continuing to working on quests in the area. Particularly, we are going to go out and make sure that Alphino doesn't run into any trouble while he is gathering firewood for the camp. So we're going to go ahead and head out there. I'm going to go ahead and get my Chocobo resummoned. And see if we can't take care of this. We have to defeat threatening monsters to the west and east of Alphino's location. And those are our two spots right there. Oh. That one was not part of the plan. Oh well. You can use it as a bit of a warm-up. Alright, there we go. Lower Sky Lords. I don't think those are my target, no. That purple circle over there is my target. Oh, there's also an Aether Current there. Perfect. What is this? Amelia Matron. Trent type enemy. Alright, that one is complete. Let's see if we can figure out how to get up here. Oh, there's Alphino right there. We're probably going to have to kill that lower Sky Lord. Alright, there we go. Let's see what this is going to be. Another one of these. Perfect. Alright, so let's go ahead and head back to camp and see what's up next. Alright, Estidian, you did what you asked. I see, I was right to worry about the boy's safety. Once Alphino returns with the wood, we can see about supper. The Ice Queen has filled a pot with what looked like stew ingredients, ready for the fire. Few things compared to the simple pleasure of sitting beside a crackling campfire of one's own making. Ha, so speaks the great explorer. Until recently, you wouldn't have recognized firewood if it came with kindling and a flint. 'Tis well you instructed me so patiently then. But yes, after my own devices, I would have been compelled to signal to Eorzea with a pile of damp leaves. I was born the pampered son of a Charlayan dignitary, and alongside my twin, became the youngest student ever to be accepted into the studium. How proud I was to match wits with scholars and philosophers, how ignorant of my own shortcomings. That hubris invited manipulation and betrayal, and led to the downfall of the scions. We all of us are guilty of similar ignorance. How many men lay down their lives, never knowing what it is they fight for, never questioning that which they have been taught to believe? It was only upon meeting Hraesvelgr that I learned the truth hidden within our history. Were it not for that chance encounter, I would never have vowed to tear down the Holy See and expunge the falsehoods with which it fans the flames of conflict. I would have lived and died in ignorance. That the truth has driven me to do terrible things, I cannot deny, but I would rather sin in the pursuit of peace than imagine myself virtuous for perpetuating a needless war. If this journey has taught me anything, it is the importance and difficulty of holding to one's convictions in the face of failure. Of striving always to replace one's ignorance with knowledge. You are well on your way, Master Alphino. At your age, I was but a fool swinging a spear, with scarcely a thought in my head. Even now, I struggle to acknowledge the misconceptions under which I have labored. Sitting here, amongst these grand ruins, how can I deny that man and dragon once lived in peace? But for all that such an age existed, we are now in a time of war. Needhogg killed my family, and no quirk of history will exonerate him. I may be ignorant of how the Dragon Song War began, but if we do not put an end to this conflict now, I cannot say for a certainty that it will only breed more vengeful souls such as mine. In my hands resides the power to vanquish a great Wyrm. If Ishgard's survival rests on me wielding that power, I will slay Needhogg myself, orders or no. Estinian, you gave your word. My word is contingent upon the success of our parley. Show me the strength of your convictions, Lady Iceheart. Convince Hraesvelgr of the righteousness of your cause. Doubt not that I shall, Dragoon. Well, winds willing, we shall have our answers on the morrow. Let us sleep now and face our fate with the rising of the sun. Alright, waiting for the wind to change. Aiming, healing, or casting body pieces. So we'll just take the silver piece. We don't need any of those. Alright, so, Moghan. What do we got? We've got pants. Alright. So, Moghan is gazing meaningfully at the path to Zenith. The campfire was so cozy, I must have fallen asleep, Kupo. But do you feel how the winds have shifted? They will have borne Hraesvelgr back to the skies above Zenith, I'm sure of it. This is your chance to climb to the highest floor of the palace and summon him with a toot on that shiny horn. So, I'll be heading back now, if it's all the same to you. Good luck, Kupo. It was nice knowing you. Okay, then. Time to go meet the dragon. Okay. Where are we headed, actually? We're headed there. Oh, and there's a, Aetheryte on the way. So that's going to be handy. These are some impressive ruins. Alright, we are attuned to the Aetheryte. Let's go ahead and climb up there and see if we can't summon Hraesvelgr. Alright. Oh! It's current. Alright. Here we are. Mortals, why do you disturb my solitude? Because he's be speaking the dragon language, so I'm gonna have to repeat everything.
Heavensward.
Thou speak. Oh. Thou speaketh the name of a creature that but awaiteth the release of oblivion. Leave me.
By the 12. Mine ears hear the tongue of dragons, yet the meaning rings clear within my mind. How can that be?
Heavensward, do you not remember me? 'Twas I whom you found in Dravania. I who glimpsed the truth. The truth about your past. About Shiva.
Do not speak her name, mortal.
But speak it I must. I have summoned Shiva's soul from the beyond and offered myself as her vessel. She has made her heart known to me.
Foolish girl, thinkest thou my beloved's spirit hath descended from the heavens? That the secrets of her heart are thine to know?
I have surrendered mine to her. Do you not see, my love? I am Shiva reborn.
A gullible fool, the light but illuminated the past for thee. It did not grant thee omniscience. The spirit thou hast summoned belonged not to Shiva. 'Tis but a shade conjured by thine own fancy. In an age long past, mine own kin were guilty of like folly. Beguiled by the Dark One's lies, they attempted to resurrect a king amongst worms. Yet the divinity they called forth merely borrowed the semblance of my fallen brood brother. Such gods are not summoned, but created. Phantoms spun from the threads of misplaced faith.
Then the spirit that answered me.
It was but thy dream of Shiva. Thy soul hath been corrupted by a deity of thine own making, child.
Be that as it may, Lord Heavensward, Izel's desire to heal the rift between man and dragon is real, and it has borne us this far. We would spare both our kind and yours the ravages of this senseless war. Pray join your voice to ours in a call for peace and forgiveness.
The tale of thy kind is one of avarice, treachery, and death, and thou wouldst speak to me of peace. Hark thee, mortal, to the naked truth, and tell me thou deservest forgiveness. Alright, 1200 years ago, my beloved Shiva's sacrifice served to bring an end to the war twixt man and dragon, paving the way for an age of peace and cooperation. Two centuries of harmony were to follow, during which time the Elezen learned much about us, not least that the eyes of a great Wyrm are the wellspring of his strength. It was out of the selfish desire to possess this strength that King Thordan then conspired to undo all that our peoples had achieved together. With the aid of his leal knights, that most noble of Elezen lured my brood sister Ratatoskr into an ambush and took from her that which he craved. Fain would I strike the image from my mind, yet still the scene doth linger of my brood sister's tattered corpse, defiled by her Elezen allies. They had torn out her eyes and feasted upon them in the manner of wild beasts. Yet that was not all, for from their bloody banquet, the fiends had gained strength beyond that of mortal men. Even now I labor to comprehend the enormity of their betrayal. Needhogg was the first to learn of the atrocity, and he took to the skies, hungry for vengeance. But though he slew Thordan and some few of his knights, their fellow butchers knew only too well where to aim their spears, and with now practiced savagery they set about my brood brother, sending him flailing from the field. Such is the truth the Holy See would keep hidden, such was the beginning of the Dragon Song War. 'Tis a song my kind shall ne'er forget, even should 10,000 years pass and Ishgard crumble into dust.
Your tale bears scant resemblance to the one I was taught. How convenient that it should absolve your kind of all responsibility. But tell me, Dragon, why should I believe your version of events?
What thou choosest to believe is immaterial. The betrayal that yet haunts mine every waking moment is no less than the truth to my kind. And Needhog meaneth for Thornton's people to suffer for this sin to the end of days. That which thou imaginest a war of extinction is but a punishment, a siege of the spirit. Hast thou not seen those who tire of the torment, those who abandon their own and side with dragonkind?
Ishgard's so-called heretics.
Know that all the traitor's progeny bear a trace of Ratatosker's essence, but a single sip of our blood is enough to awaken it.
Then, the seed lies within us.
Tis for this reason that those who abandon their loyalties are rewarded with a drink, and thus they are transformed to join the ranks of Needhog's ever-growing army as newborn dragons. One by one, through death or defection, my brood brother shall account for all the betrayer's children.
Ye gods, I have borne witness to such a transformation. Looked on as a heretic assumed the shape of a dragon. I imagined it some manner of Dravanian enchantment. But if any Ishgardian, regardless of allegiance, has such potential within them, 12 forgive us. To think of all the dragons we've slain!
There will always be some, of course, who choose to fight until the bitter end, like thee, Dragoon. But struggle as thou might, thy youthful vigor will be spent ere thou reachest 20, and Needhog shall remain to torment thine offspring.
Oft have I wondered why Nidhogg did not simply raze Ishgard to the ground. Now I have my answer. He has no intention of winning the Dragonsong War, for it is no war at all, but vengeance. An eternal requiem sung for his murdered sister.
Thou hast the right of it, Dragon Slayer. Comprehendest thou now the futility of thy quest?
I have not come this far only to admit defeat. We can still return the eye to Nidhogg and beg forgiveness for our ancestors' crimes. Mayhap our words will sway him.
Stubborn child, thou thinkest in mortal terms. Our perception of time is too broad for thee to grasp. It is a simple matter for thee to offer thine apologies. Thou didst not perpetrate the crime. Despite thy visions, the deeds of history seem distant to thee. For a worm such as Nidhogg, however, that history is yet part of his present, as fresh as the blood that did gush from Ratatosker's wounds. How could he not be driven mad? "'Tis only by the calming embrace of Shiva's soul that my own fury hath not consumed me. But let us speak no more of what is done. My faith in your kind is spent, and I would be alone." Okay, well that was a whole lot of information thrown at us. Okay. So now we know how the war actually started. And, it doesn't look like it's going to be as simple as Ysel thought it would be. Alright. Alphino, let's see what you have to say. Hraesvelgr was every bit as awe-inspiring as I imagined. His voice fairly dripped with power, the will behind his words so undeniable that it transcended my ignorance of the dragon's tongue. 'Tis but a pity that I misliked what he said. So far do we travel, even unto the very heavens themselves, only to be dismissed like unruly children. And far from mitigating this humiliation, the hidden truths we have learned serve only to prove that our grand mission of peace was destined to fail from the first. Nothing will deter Nidhogg from his course. Alright, so let's go ahead and grab those pants. Alright, equip. Alright, so, what's next? Alphino is considering your party's next course of action.
Well, what do you propose we do now? I, for one, am intent on continuing to the east.
What is there to be found in the east?
Nidhogg's lair, the Eyrie, is said to lie in that direction. And the eye tells me he is near.
You cannot still mean to slay him.
You cannot still mean to stop me. I have been true to my word, and aided you in this fool's errand with Hraesvelgr. But your efforts at parley have come to naught, Lady Iceheart. I would see Ishgard saved, and for that, Nidhogg must die.
With the tale of our ancestors' vile betrayal yet ringing in your ears, you speak of continuing this war?
Nay, lady. I would but pierce its vengeful heart. When Nidhogg dies, this war shall die with him.
A moment, Estinian. You yourself spoke of the Great Wyrm's strength, that you believed him powerful enough to raise your city to the ground. How then are we few to challenge him? Even behind the stout walls of Ishgard, with an army of knights manning the defenses, our victory would be hard won. Yet you propose to contend with the beast in his own lair.
In close combat, this will afford us an advantage. And if the tales are true, the Warrior of Light has bested many an invincible foe. But such speculation is meaningless if we cannot even find the Wyrm. Our first task must be to seek out Nidhogg's lair.
The story of this nation grows bloodier by the moment. Must death always be answered with more of the same?
Such is the way of things, I fear. I shall consider it a miracle if mine armor is not stained crimson ere this conflict is ended.
That I should be blinded by my own lies. Everything I believed, everything I thought I was, gone. All gone.
Leave her. Your words will not reach her now. And we have not the time to wait for her to gather up the pieces of her shattered faith.
Alright, I think we are pretty much at the end of this episode. I'm going to go ahead and head back down to the Aetheryte. The other bit of information we learned from Hraesvelgr, which is actually fairly important, I believe, is that the Primals are not actually summoned. They are created on the spot by those that basically believe in them, and they are essentially what the creators imagined the gods to be like. Ooh, can't jump down there. So they don't technically exist. Oh, there's a side quest over here. Let's take a look. Oh, it's Moglio. Hey. And he's going to give us our gloves. There we go. Let's go ahead and grab that real quick, and then we'll go ahead and call it a day. Moglio has found the next lucky recipient of his kindness. Alright, look, adventurer. It's another Moogle that needs our help. I wonder where his troubles will lead us, Kupo. Alright, unmoogled Moogle. This won't do. This won't do at all, Kupo. Oh, whatever shall I do? What's wrong, Kupo? What won't do? Well, I came here from Asa because the flowers here bloom so lovely, and every day I have watered them without fail. But then those discourteous dragons came in and started stamping all over them, Kupo. I could only stand their lack of manners for so long, until one day I gave them a stern lecture in hopes they would change their ways. But dragons being dragons, they roared and gnashed their teeth and chased me from my beloved flower bed. I have no choice now but to go back to Asa, but the dragons are stalking the road home. All they wanted to do was take care of the flowers, and now I'm trapped here, Kupo. That's quite the quandary. Ah, ha. All I have to do is protect you on the way home, Kupo. Those dragons won't dare come near my mighty blade. Adventurer, come close. We must form our battle strategy, Kupo. Alright. Adventurer, I know you've helped me in the past, but I must ask you to let me take care of this task myself. To be a member of the Palm Guard not only requires a generous heart, but a strong arm as well. I shall guide this Moogle safely home by virtue of my own blade, Kupo. But there are lots of dragons on the road to Asa, and if one were to happen to attack, you have my permission to come to our rescue. A Moogle is no good to anyone if they become dragon fodder. Now that our strategy has been carefully thought through, it's time to set out. Follow close behind, adventurer, so that you may bask in the courage of Mooglekind. And we will do that later. Alright. So, for now, go ahead and end here. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Go ahead and like, subscribe, and comment. And I will see you next time.